Most of us are naturally addicted to quick fixes. I mean, it makes total sense. It's human nature to want to be healthy, rich, happy, in a fulfilling relationship as quickly as possible. I get it. So one of my students actually joined my program right as one of her friends got the lap band surgery. So they put in the band within the woman's stomach. And she told me that she was curious about what potential side effects this lap band had and whether or not it was actually effective in the long term. Now in today's video, I'm going to show you some slightly disturbing research on what the research actually shows on how effective lap band surgery really is. What's up everyone, Alex Hine here over at modernhealthmonk.com, the home of tiny habits. Now, check out these studies on lap band surgery and how effective they are after the surgery, months and years after. Now in the first study, they had 41 patients, 93% were women. They wanted to see just how effective this lap band surgery was. Now here's what the researchers discovered. Now of these patients, 76% had some kind of complication. After, the average time of removal was about 2.3 years. 5 of the patients, which is 12%, maintained their weight, 4 of which had some kind of learning. Now here's what's actually funny to me. 5 of the patients, 12%, maintained their weight. Every other one gained weight. Now what's kind of funny here, or maybe sad, is that the mean body mass index for both of the groups after the band was removed was 36 versus 29 at the removal. Their BMI went up from 29 to 36 after their band was removed. And 73% would not agree to gastric banding again. And according to these researchers, the long-term outcome of patients following the band removal was a failure in 66% of the patients. So that doesn't really sound too good to me, but just to be safe, let's take a look at a few more to see the outcomes here. Now the second study looked at 37 patients. The patients here were followed up with for 4 years after the surgery, and here's what they found. What's kind of funny here is that 41% of the patients actually had the band removed anywhere from 10 days to 3-4 years after the surgery. And what's hilarious is that the most common reason for removal was inadequate weight loss. So they weren't even losing enough weight with the surgery. Besides that, most of the other primary reasons were infection or leakage or slippage. So there were complications with the band, which is extremely common based on all these studies. Now what's really sad is that only 4 of the patients achieved a body mass index of less than 35, or at least a 50% reduction in their weight. So only 4 of them, 4 out of 37. So what is that, 10%, a little bit more than 10%, actually saw the weight reduction they needed. So the rest of them had some kind of complication. Now this may seem pretty obvious to you. I mean, if you've been following my stuff for a while, you know that really the only people that see long-term results, and even short-term results that stick, are the people that focus on habits, focus on behavioral change and understanding the inner game. What's going on up here that's preventing us from being successful out here? Follow the main principles that feel good to you. And by that I mean, if it feels like a gimmick, it probably is. Now it's kind of sad that FDA has approved this kind of surgery and there are other weight loss surgeries approved by the FDA. But the problem is that if this sounds like something that is unsustainable, then it's probably going to be unsustainable despite what these companies are saying to you. And back to my friend, she said that ironically, when she joined my program and her friend got surgery, she had actually gained back the 70 pounds and then gained 30 more. So she'd gained over 100 pounds back compared to where she was before after the surgery. And my friend, by the way, my student, she's actually very close to her pre-pregnancy weight, and we're going to be throwing a celebration for her. So you be the judge there. That's all I have to say about that. So that's the science. Those are my thoughts on the lap band surgery there, and just the idea of using surgery for weight loss. Now I know there are good reasons, there are valid reasons for it, especially people that have medical complications or they need to lose a lot of weight. But your tiny habit for today is to just be critical and evaluate these things, and always think in terms of the paradigm of habits. So does this have a behavioral change approach? Because otherwise, guess what happens? You get the surgery, and then you go back to eating whatever is causing you to gain weight in the first place. And if it's an emotional trigger, it's just going to keep happening. If it's because you hate your work or there's something going on with your spouse or partner, it's going to keep happening. So always take time to figure out what the real origin is. The real origin is never not having time or the emotions. There's always a layer deeper there. So I hope that helps. If you're on YouTube, go on over to modernhealthmonk.com. Go ahead, sign up for the email list there. There's a real food weight loss habits guide. If you're on YouTube, make sure you go ahead, click the subscribe button. You get the next video right when it's out. And I want to hear from you. Go ahead, leave a comment below. Do you know someone that's done this kind of surgery? What were their results? I want to hear from you. Thanks so much for joining me here, and I'll see you next time.